Okay. Good evening. I would like to call to order the December 4th, 2023 regular school committee meeting at 5 p.m. At this time, I would entertain a motion to convene an executive session, a non-public session to discuss the approval of October 3rd, 2023 executive session minutes and the November 15th, 2023 executive session minutes, and collective bargaining pertaining to the TTA. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Biagioni Smith, a second by Mr. Russo. Mr. Parsons, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Russo?
Aye.
Ms. Biagioni Smith?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. My understanding is that Mrs. Anderson will be joining us in executive session. So the school committee will reconvene in open session in the Christine McGath Auditorium after executive session in recognition of the Tewksbury Public Schools Academic Achievement Awards. That should be around 6 p.m. or ideally at 6 p.m. So. everybody. Good evening. My name is Bridget Garabedian. I'm with the Tewksbury School Committee. Our meeting actually started at 5 o'clock in another room. Then we broke for executive session. So for formality, I now have to reconvene tonight's regular school committee meeting at 6 p.m. And we are here to recognize the 2023 MCAS top performing students, the recipients of the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship, and the National Merit Scholarship Program commended students. We are here in the Christine McGrath Auditorium. Thank you for joining us. This is our pleasure to be able to recognize and honor students with such awesome academic achievement. I'll give the program over now to Mrs. Terry O'Regan, our superintendent.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. And other members of our committee with us tonight are Vice Chair, Ms. Kayla Biagioni-Smith, Katie Anderson, Mr. Richard Russo, and Nicholas Parson, members of the committee. This is always a great night where we recognize so many students who are high achieving in the assessments that we have here at school. So bear with me, there's a lot of sheets of paper here, and then I'm going to give some instruction to students. We will have our principals who are present help our assistant superintendent, Ms. Lori McDermott, with the medals and positioning students on the stands. But parents, family, friends, caregivers, I just ask that you shut your phones off from the ringer, but keep them out because we are going to make sure you have some photo opportunities when we announce your students. Again, this is just such a proud night for us as Tewksbury Public School educators. I see a few of you actually in the audience, and I know how proud you are of all of our students. Students, you clearly have been blessed with the ability to learn with wonderful brains and certainly to achieve highly at school. But I really do hope you look to your left and right and recognize the many, many people that have helped you throughout your achievement. Your family, your caregivers, your friends, and certainly all of the educators that you have had throughout your educational career. I am going to challenge and ask every one of you students, please say thank you to those people who came with you tonight and reach out to that teacher or teachers that you had last year or a couple of years back that really helped you achieve so highly and be recognized tonight. Really, we're here to support and help you learn and challenge you and maybe push you a little bit too. But please don't miss the opportunity to just say thank you for all of that support you've received along the way. So, without further ado, let me talk a little bit about the recognitions tonight. Tonight, we will recognize students who have exceeded expectations in 2 or more areas or received a perfect score, or students with a perfect score plus exceeding expectations in 1 or more MCAS areas. Those MCAS, Massachusetts Comprehensive Assessment System content areas include English Language Arts, math, and science, technology, and engineering or biology here at the high school. So the Massachusetts Comprehensive Assessment System is a nationally recognized rigorous assessment for those content areas in Massachusetts. This assessment is regarded as one of the most rigorous and challenging assessments in the nation. So students, if you didn't know that, be really proud. When you are achieving high in Massachusetts, you are high achievers across our nation. So students, when we do call you up, we're going to lead you with the medal and then ask you to take your place. Mrs. McDermott will help you, but we're going to wait for the entire group to be called up to the podium, and then we'll give your parents and caregivers and friends an opportunity to take a picture. So please stay there, and by all means, feel free to put your medal on or show it for the picture, okay? And parents and friends and audience members, we ask you to please refrain from your clapping and cheering until we get the whole group up, okay? So let's start with our first group. Students who are exceeding expectations with a score of 530 or greater, and that group includes 34 students. So let me ask, I'm going to ask our principals to also come up. And we'll start with our youngest students. And again, these are students who exceeded expectations in 2 subject areas. We ready? All right, again, we're gonna wait to applaud after all the students have been called. Let's start with 3rd grader Eleanor Bourne. Ashlyn Sheehan. Mason Tremblay. Kyla Blinn. Casey Campbell. Apollo Lopez. Jason Malone. Rose McGinnis. Alexia Bathoni. Daniel Bazinski. Chetan Madupu. Avani Tiwari. Sophia Campbell. Avital Gaidukova. Joseph Kane. Justin Plamondon. Joseph Todd. Celeste Webb. Emma Delgado. Abigail Fowley. Eric Frazier. Jake Giganti. James Keenan. Michael Parziali. Phoenix Rizzuti. Lucia Alvarado. Christopher Abagast. Kira Gaffney. Mason Gomes. David Lamb. I feel like we should have some music or something playing, right? So exciting. And David Lamb. Gregory Mercado. Dante Moniz. Balin Poirier. And Rose So. Those are our 34 students who have exceeded expectations in 2 MCAS exams. Congratulations. Okay. Congratulations again, students. Okay, the next group we will be honoring our students that exceeded expectations in 3 subject areas. We'll let our students get seated before I start calling up this group. And again, exceeding expectations is a score of 530 or greater. looks like we're ready. The first student that would like to join us up on the stands is Isabella Laporto. Then Joshua Olson, Jeffrey Tusseri, Kevin Andriolo, and Zach Hyduke. Congratulations, students. And if students who are not with us tonight for the celebration are watching, your medals will be going to your school, and your principal will award you those medals when you're at school. Okay. Thank you very much, students. Congratulations again. The next group of students that we'll be recognizing are students with a perfect score on one of their MCAS exams. And a perfect score is a score of 560. And for this group, I'd like to also note which exam the student received the perfect score on. Our first student to be recognized is Mark Gaidukov in grade 3 with a perfect score on his math MCAS exam. On up, Mark. And joining Mark, I hope, is Kiara Ann Tambarella. She's in grade 5 with a perfect score on her English Language Arts MCAS test. Also with a perfect score on the grade 8 ELA MCAS test is Kylie Squires. Joining Kylie with a perfect ELA MCAS score in grade 8 is Jeffrey Wolfinger. In grade 9 with a perfect score on the biology MCAS is Alan Dang. And then grade 10, perfect ELA MCAS score is Brooke Corey. Congratulations, students. The next group of high achievers being recognized have an MCAS perfect score plus exceeded expectations in at least one other area. And let's start with grade 5 student Ella Garagliano for a perfect score on the science, technology, engineering, and exceeding expectations in math. And now grade 6, Kyle Chu for a perfect score in the math MCAS and exceeding expectations in ELA. Kevin Daigle of grade 8, perfect score on the ELA MCAS and exceeding expectations in math. Cordelia Zwerek in grade 8, her perfect score was in ELA and exceeding expectations in math. Now, our grade 10 students with perfect scores and at least one exceeding expectation starts with Anya Cranston. In grade 10, Anya had a perfect score in ELA and exceeding expectations in math. All right, Rania Elowahi. Rania, grade 10, perfect score in ELA and exceeding expectations in math. For those that may not know, unless you're watching our school committee meetings, Rania is our high school student representative to our school committee. Next, William Mullins of grade 10, a perfect score in ELA and exceeding expectations in math as well. And our final student in this category is grade 5 student Dylan Tien with a perfect score in math and exceeding expectations in the science, technology, and engineering exam. Congratulations, students. Smile for the pictures your parents have taken. Okay, thank you very much. This next student stands in a category alone. This is a grade 5 student who has an MCAS perfect score of 560 plus exceeded expectations in 2 areas. This student is Erin McCusker. In grade 5, Erin had a perfect score in ELA and exceeded expectations in both math and science, technology, and engineering. Congratulations, Erin. Good job. Okay, in the next category of students we will honor are the recipients of the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship Award. The Tewksbury Memorial High School has 51 recipients of this John and Abigail Adams Scholarship. John and Abigail Adams Scholarship is a merit-based program that provides a tuition credit for up to 8 semesters of undergraduate education at a Massachusetts State College or University. The scholarship covers tuition. Scholarships will be granted to students whose combined score places them in the top 25% of students in their district and who also meet the MCAS score requirements. As I said, we have 51 recipients of the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship. So again, if I could just ask you to hold your applause till we get all of our students up here. I'll try to go a little bit quicker, but I do want them to hear their names. So our first student is Muhammad Abdul Karim, Lucas Adams, James Atherton, Tyler Barnes, John Barron, Raphael Baluco, Ryan Benchader, Nathaniel Bone, Heather Chase, Michaela Conley, Morgan Crowley, Ryan Cora, Nathan Sear, Lana Dang, Aislinn Davis, Avery Della Piana, Haley Doran. Colby Flahive. Anthony Freitas. Whitney Gigante. Emily Giordano. I'll get this one. Emma Giordano. Paxton Green. Alexander Grove. Mackenzie Hickey. Peter Impink. Jeremy Insania. Owen Kinnan. Nicholas Kitowich. Renuka Latte. Galil Levinson. Dakota Malaysia. Cullen Mangan. Jason Morris. Ashwin Narayanan. Kimson Nguyen. Tia Nickerson. Lauren Pedisano. Victor Pacheco. Drew Rennell. Jack Rennell. Cooper Robalad. Mario Ruiz Perez. Grace Russo. Emma Ryan. Junisa Safon. Zachary Sullivan. Sky Brianna Tamby. Ava Trin. Alicia Vino. Connor Wallazek. And Jared Woodman. Congratulations, students. Thank you, students. Okay, Mr. Long, if you can stay up at the table, and we can have Ms. Biagioni Smith join you. While our students, our high school students are sitting down, I want to talk about the next high achievement or merit achievement that we'll be recognizing tonight. And this is the National Merit Scholarship Commended Students. In September of 2023, more than 2/3, about 34,000 of the United States high school scorers were designated commended students on the basis of a nationally applied selection index qualifying score that may vary from year to year, but commended students placed among the top 50,000 scorers who entered the class of 2024 competition by taking the 2022 preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. In recognition of their outstanding ability and potential for academic success in college, the National Merit Scholarship Council honors these students by sending letters of commendation to them through their high schools. Although commended students will not continue in the competition for the National Merit Scholarships, some may be candidates for special scholarships offered by corporate sponsors. The National Merit Scholarship Council says those being named commended students have demonstrated outstanding potential for academic success. These students represent a valuable national resource, recognizing their accomplishments as well as the key role their schools play in their academic development. It is vital to the advancement of educational excellence in our nation. We hope that this recognition will help broaden their educational opportunities and encourage them as they continue their pursuit of academic success. I can tell you we're very proud of our 4 students that will be recognized as National Merit Commended Students. These students are Lana Dang, Anthony Freitas, Alexander Grove, and Renuka Latte. Students, I'm going to have you pause for a minute. Ms. Biagioni Smith has a recognition of achievement to read for you.
All right, on behalf of the Tewksbury School Committee, this resolution of recognition, whereas Lana Dang, Anthony Freitas, Alexander Grove, and Renuka Latte are seniors at Tewksbury Memorial High School, have been named commended students in the 2024 National Merit Scholarship Program, and whereas Lana, Anthony, Alexander, and Renuka have received a letter of commendation from the National Merit Scholarship Corporation for the exceptional performance in the scholarship program, and whereas Lana, Anthony, Alexander, and Renuka have placed in the top 3 to 4% of students who took the preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship qualifying test in the fall of '22 and placed among the top 50,000 students who entered the 2024 program. Whereas Lana, Anthony, Alexander, and Renuka have brought great pride, recognition, and honor to themselves, to their parents and family, to the Tewksbury Memorial High School, and to the town of Tewksbury. Now therefore be it resolved that the Tewksbury School Committee applauds, honors, recognizes the exceptional academic performance of Lana Dang, Anthony Freitas, Alexander Grove, and Renuka Latte. Congratulations.
Thank you, students. Well, that concludes our celebration tonight. In fact, we will be convening our school committee meeting in the large group instruction room. You're all welcome to stay. I know it is riveting, or you can certainly celebrate with your children for their amazing achievement. We're so proud of you, students. And don't forget the challenge. Please remember to reach out to at least one teacher and thank them for the support they've given you to get here tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Russo, second by Mrs. Biagioni Smith. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay, we will reconvene in LG1. Okay, we reconvene our regular school committee meeting, now back in LGI1 at 6:36 p.m. For those of you that are just tuning in, if you're at home, we are just reconvening back from the Christine McGrath Auditorium after some pretty awesome recognitions of some academic achievement awards that we were able to give out to some students tonight, and some recognition, so that you'll hear more about that. But if you're just tuning in, if we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. All right, for our regular announcement, the December 4th, 2023 regular school committee meeting will be televised and recorded. It may be viewed live on Comcast Channel 22 and Verizon Channel 34, or on youtube.com/Tewksbury TV. Under the open meeting law, the public is permitted to make an audio or video recording of an open session at a public meeting. At this time, I would ask if anybody is recording tonight's meeting to please identify themselves. And seeing nobody, we will now move on to Rania, who's our high school representative. I'd like to also say congratulations to you, Rania, for
Thank you.
your academic awards tonight, but the floor is yours.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So I know it hasn't been too long since the last meeting, and last meeting I had a hefty report. So today I just have somewhat of a brief report for everything that's happened in November so far. To begin, some sports updates have that the fall sports season has officially ended since the Fall Sports Awards ceremony was yesterday in the auditorium, December 5th. And winter sports began last week, and some of the sports offered include ice hockey, gymnastics, basketball, cheerleading, indoor track, and wrestling at all levels. So next, some club updates I have include that the TMHS concert band and choir are having their winter concert on Thursday, December 14th at 6:30. The TMHS Theater Company put on a very nice show of High School Musical on November 17th through 19th, and now they're having their final auditions for the year on December 12th for the spring musical, The Addams Family. The Interact Club is hosting a toy drive for the Christmas in the City charity, which is collecting a variety of new unwrapped toys that will be donated to children and families in need. Any toys must be placed in the boxes found in Ms. Caruso's room, and they can also be found in the office by Friday, December 15th. Moreover, also in the spirit of the holiday season, on Friday, December 1st, members of NHS volunteered at the Jolly Jamboree, and we were painting faces, helping children make different crafts, and just facilitating this event, which happened at the center school. Also, members from NHS, along with the student council, they also had the opportunity to volunteer at the Hood Tournament, which was a large fundraiser for the Tewksbury Basketball League on Thanksgiving weekend. On Sunday, December 10th, at Northern Essex Community College, the International Club will be handing out water to runners participating in the Jingle Bell Race. In preparation for the DECA district competition, DECA exams will be held all of next week during copious in-school periods, along with several opportunities to take them after school, and all written papers for this competition will be due on December 22nd. Finally, the math team has been to several meets so far, performing very well, and our next one is going to be held tomorrow, Thursday, December 7th, at Billerica High School. And that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Rania?
Thank you so much.
No, I just have one. Thank you so much for the volunteering. I
Oh, of
think
course.
when having teenage volunteers that go to the other schools, to the younger schools, I just think that's really valuable and kind of an awesome thing to do. I know some
I
people
agree.
do it for the hours because you need the hours, but I like to see that our high school kids are hanging out with the younger kids.
Yeah.
So thank you.
It was fun. I really liked it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Rania.
Thanks, Rania.
Okay, and we have no presentations for this evening. And is anybody here for Citizens Forum? Okay, seeing nobody, we'll move on to our approval of minutes with Mrs. Anderson.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the October 3rd, 2023 Special School Committee meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, with a motion by Mrs. Anderson, a second by Mr. Russo. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
I make a motion to approve the November 15th, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, with a motion by Mrs. Anderson, a second by Mr. Russo. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And that motion passes unanimously. And on to our bills.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the payroll period ending November 22nd, 2023 in the amount of $1,583,611.35.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mrs. Anderson and a second by Mr. Russo to approve and certify the payroll period ending November 22nd, 2023 in the amount of $1,583,611.35. Mr. Parsons, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Russo?
Aye.
Mrs. Anderson?
Aye.
Mrs. Biagioni-Smith?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well for a unanimous vote. And that brings us to our superintendent and staff reports, starting with Mrs. Terry O'Regan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first of the updates I'm proud to share with you is that Tewksbury has been awarded a $15,000 student cell phone use pilot grant. Principal John Weir is working with his school council and his student council to determine the best way to pilot an approach that addresses the negative social-emotional impact excessive student cell phone use can have on our students. So I know he'll be sharing more with you there. Now that they have the grant and they can work with their groups, they will determine what's the best way to implement some type of mitigating approach to help our students. And next, Karen Baker O'Brien, our Director of Student and Family Support, is sharing with you in your consent agenda our quarterly Care Solace report. Since we've started school, you can see what's nice is the warm handoff of 20 of the 25 total cases. The data shows, the preponderance of call-ins from families seeking help were of students ages 3 to 11, females, and of white ethnicity. And you can see on the second page, the preponderance of need is in the area of anxiety and depression. So again, this is a great resource that families have, not just our families of students, but staff and their family members can access Care Solace in need. We'll be continuing to put this in our newsletter. The holiday times can often be a time where, people are seeking assistance. With that, last week, our special education administrator, Candace Tharrett, hosted an informational session for home and community support services offered to our families with special ed students. She also highlighted the home service tiers based on the needs of parents and families. It was very informative, very well received, and we thank Candace for her efforts here. Certainly, it's a great assistance to parents seeking additional information, and anyone who is not able to make the informational session can certainly reach out to Ms. Tharrett at our central office. As an update to our November superintendent update, I just wanted to share with you the happy faces of our veterans who received those hundreds of thank yous from our students. It's always great. A picture says 1,000 words. You can see all those hand-drawn, handwritten thank yous right in front of them there. So it's nice when our kiddos connect with community members that way and make them happy. Mrs. White came in last week to the Center Elementary School for 50 STEM lessons, for 50-minute STEM lessons with every single grade, grades 2 through 4. Every single class was able to experience the excitement and enthusiasm in her hands-on lessons, and the theme was motion. So we were able to bring Miss White in based on a Corning Foundation grant. Our district security team hosted our quarterly meeting in November. Just as a reminder to the committee, we've had a district security team since 2000. Mr. Russo is your school committee rep on the team. The team is comprised of central office administration, principals, assistant principals, the Tewksbury Police Department administration and our SROs, as well as our Tewksbury Fire Department administration and nursing and Department of Public Health representation. Our goal continues to be to evaluate our day-to-day security practices in our schools and on our school campus, as well as our big emergency planning. There's a subcommittee who has attended now 2 plant trainings just this month and another training that's coming up in a couple of weeks where they will look at and evaluate our green emergency book and see where those changes may need to take place. So I would like to just reach out to the community a little bit and ask for your continued support. Our schools are very welcoming and busy day and night. And we've noticed a trend, and I think I've brought this up maybe once or twice, with a lot of foot traffic on our school campus during the school day. And while we're just so happy we have the support of the community and people see the school campus as a safe place to walk their dog or take a walk during the day, it really is, I want to choose the right word, it's alarming to educators and the people who are monitoring students throughout the day when people walk around the recess area or come onto campus if they don't have school business, because we do require everyone on our school campus to sign in, show a license, get a visitor badge, so that we know exactly who's on the campus while students are there. So again, we're just asking our community to help us maintain a secure environment and a safe environment for all students. And if there are any questions on, our processes, always please feel free to reach out to principals or myself at the central office if there are questions. But our district security team, and again, thank you, Mr. Russo, is actively seeking to constantly improve on the ways we do things. We have, in the last week, there were some alarming trends, and in the Merrimack Valley, we made sure to inform our security team, of those things we were seeing out in other districts, and again, review with every single staff member and administrator what our procedures are. So I will continue to update you if we see any changes to our security protocols, but we feel we're in really great shape. And, from the chief of police and the chief of fire and our drills in practice, they feel we're doing quite a bit here in Tewksbury to maintain safe protocols, and I feel that way too. So, Mr. Libby is not here, and I have some updates when it gets to be his turn, but I did want to share with you, myself and Mr. Libby have really and truly kicked off the FY25 budget process with every principal in our district directors. This is the first phase of helping our leaders plan for their next year's school budget. As a reminder, we're entering in a school year where we will not have some of the grant dollars that we have been very privileged to have, the ESSER grants. So our principals and our directors are being very thoughtful and efficient in planning for their operating budgets, supplies, as well as truly looking at staffing through the lens of student enrollment. In January at our meeting, I will share with you our NESDEC predicted enrollment trends from past and into the future, as well as our current enrollment in all of our schools. So you can see that that data helps us really align our budget appropriately. So you'll hear lots about the budget. There are 3 workshops coming up, one in the January school committee meeting. Those 3 workshops are to inform our public prior to going to town meeting for a vote in May. So again, you'll hear a lot about the budget, and when Mr. Libby is here in January, he'll be sharing the preliminary FY25 budget. And that concludes my updates for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Mr. Russo?
Yeah, just maybe one. Thanks, Ms. Regan, for your updates, especially as it relates to the district security stuff. I know from my standpoint, I just want to throw my continued support. If there's anything that the administration feels that they need from this committee, I want to make sure that we're in a position where we can support you in the district, especially when it comes to, unsolicited visitors on campus, especially during the school day. We want to make sure our students and staff feel safe. That is the utmost important thing in my mind anyway, one of them. So anything that we can continue to do to support that, I want to make sure that you know that you have at least my support, and I would imagine my colleagues as well. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Parsons?
Ooh, I have none.
Nothing? And Ms. Anderson?
I'm good, thank you.
And Ms. Peters?
I'm all set, thank you.
And I actually don't have any questions, so thank you very much. Okay, and
Yeah, thank you. So last week, I was able to attend the CASE Title I conference with our literacy director, Felicia Chinanovich, Principal McGinnis from the Ryan School, and Assistant Principal Cordero from the Wynn Middle School. It was truly a remarkable event that brought together educators, administrators, specialists from across the state to discuss innovative strategies and best practices in all of Title I programming. The picturesque setting of Chatham, Cape Cod, certainly supported an inspiring backdrop for the exchange of ideas and collaboration. The weather turned out to be beautiful. Throughout the conference, we were able to participate in a range of workshops, keynote sessions, panel discussions that covered a myriad of topics like grit. We talked about productive struggle with students, inclusive practices, professional learning opportunities, just to name a few. I was really thrilled with how the session topics directly aligned with our district goals and the work that we've been doing here in Tewksbury. That was nice to see. The sessions were really fantastic. The networking opportunities allowed us to connect with other professionals across the state who share many of the same challenges, and exchange ideas. So this is always a favorite conference. This is it's funded through our Title I grant, so it's always nice to be able to bring a team to that. I think the challenge is when we come back to kind of, as you know from going to the MASS conference, it's one session to the other, so the challenge is always getting back together and trying to really unpack everything that you learned and see how you're going to use it. So that's my challenge over the next couple of months. A quick standards-based report cards update. It's getting close. We're excited, as a reminder, that that the grades 1 through 4 standards-based report card will go live December 15th. It will be available in Aspen for our first term. Again, that will come as an attachment in Aspen. Hopefully, right? Fingers crossed. And a reminder that the standards are end-of-year expectations. So in order to monitor and report progress to families on the standards, we've broken them down into 3 phases. Now, not every standard needs to be broken down, but there are standards. I'll give you an example. But so basically, parents will have an idea of what that term 1 benchmark will look like, progress toward that end-of-year standard. So if a student is getting mastery right now, it doesn't necessarily mean that they've mastered that year-end standard. They've mastered what has been taught up until now. So I kind of marked an example to show you. So if you were to take a standard know and apply grade level phonics and word analysis skills in decoding words, so that's the long standard. But over the course of the year, in order to master that standard, there's a whole host of skills that are taught, but there's only a subset of skills that are taught for this term. So for example, in this term, what students would be graded on is closed syllables, consonant and vowel suffixes, vowel, consonant, E syllables, multisyllabic words, and silent E spelling. Term 2, it moves on to the schwa sound, open syllables, pluralizing words that end in Y. So it's very specific, and we've outlined all of this for families and teachers, and I can't thank the teachers enough. They knew we needed this benchmark document as a committee. We kind of went back and forth, what kind of level of detail do we think that we need, but as we really got into the standards, we felt like in order to really effectively communicate to families, we want them to know exactly what we've covered in this term, and so what we're reporting, how we're reporting they're doing on that kind of portion of the standard. So that, again, will be very new for families. So the benchmark document will be available, is available actually on our website, and you can find that under the curriculum section. And under the curriculum section, there's a whole standards-based report card section. You can see all of the presentations there. There's the presentation with all the slides, the voiceovers, the FAQs, and now we've added this benchmark document. We've also added just a document that contains all of the standards in all of the content areas and in the habits of character. So we encourage you to review this document alongside your child's report card. When you get that, have that document with you, just so that to help you gain insights into their academic achievements and any areas of focus. And as always, if parents have any questions and would like any further clarification regarding the report cards or that benchmark document, they can reach out to their classroom teacher or, of course, directly to me, if that's easier. We really want to help families in any way that we can. We were able to provide some additional professional development for our teachers in this last session. And this week, we've had all of our coaches available to support some after-school help for teachers who are just finishing up getting those grades ready. Lastly, in my update, believe it or not, it's time to think about kindergarten again. So for registering for the 24-25 school year, our kindergarten registration is going to open on January 16th. And we have a very helpful informational video that's getting updated and will be posted on the website very soon, where you'll also find all of the documents needed and instructions for making an appointment. So we'll also include all of this information in the district newsletter, and I'm also including all of the standards-based report card information in the newsletter with the links so that parents can access that on the website. And that concludes my update.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
No, no.
That's awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
No, it was a great update. Thank you so much.
Sure.
My only question, will the teachers of individual classes of students send out that benchmark information?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. No, we are attaching it it will go home in Aspen, go home. It will be in there as an attachment with the report card. I'm glad you
Okay,
mentioned that.
so it
Sorry
will
about
be
that.
there with reports.
Yep.
Because I imagine
won't
some
have to
people
seek it out
don't really
separately.
pay
Yep.
attention until they see it, I would think.
Right, it will be in as an attachment. Yeah.
Okay, that's a
Thanks
great
for
idea.
asking.
All right, thank you. Okay, and seeing Mr. Libby is not with us, was there anything more for this update?
He may not be with us, but there
It
are
did
several
seem
updates
short.
from the
It did
business
seem short.
manager. And again, Mr. Libby is on a well-deserved break, and I'm sure he is watching us from wherever he is. So I will do his updates the best justice I can. First is welcoming our new payroll specialist. Suzanne Caliendo is transitioning from Ryan School Secretary to the central office role of payroll specialist, as Caitlin Paquette is moving into the vacancy in the superintendent's office with the retirement of our executive secretary, Maria Cutlass. So we welcome our new members of central office, or the rotating musical chairs, and we certainly wish Maria Cutlass the best as she now rotates into caring for her grandchildren more often. So, as not to leave the Ryan School shorthanded, Suzanne will be splitting her time during the transition, working at the Ryan during arrival and dismissal, and then coming over and working with Caitlin midday. So the plan will be in effect until Ryan hires Ms. Caliendo's replacement. So everyone's flexibility and teamwork has just been amazing and keeping us all afloat at central office. Projects, let's see, we'll start with the Heathbrook Greenhouse Rooms. We've received 2 of the 3 quotes for engineering and design work, waiting on the final quote. Then we'll decide on the approach to bidding out the work, as there are many different trades involved. The HVAC, design and implement a new system to replace the old system with rotting pipes underneath concrete slab is underway. The structural and the window progress, design and build is to design and build a replacement wall for the greenhouse-style walls, which leak and are very energy inefficient, and the once clear plexiglass windows have become just opaque. As far as the sheetrock is concerned, that's to be removed and replaced. That at one time movable partition wall between the classrooms and the ceiling as well. The original existing ceiling system is a splined together gridless system that is unable to be maintained. Since the HVAC work will require access to that space above the ceiling, a traditional suspended ceiling replacement will be the best solution to fit the current modern HVAC equipment. So lots going on to update and improve the Heathbrook greenhouse area and the flooded areas. As far as the Wynn and the Ryan HVAC, we opened bids for the contract work. Unfortunately, due to market changes in the industry, the bid prices were much higher than the original estimated, approximately $1.4 million when we wrote these projects into our grant 3 years ago. Since our consultant hasn't finalized examining the bids for completion, and we haven't formally notified the bidders, we don't want to go into exact figures, but they're significantly higher than the amount we had in the grant. We will likely be taking the following approach. Complete 1 school this summer using ESSA 3 grant money, which we have to use by September 2024, plus fund the remaining amount with some one-time, non-recurring sources. We'll need to rebid the second school next fall, hoping for better results in the open market to complete the second school summer of 2025 and fund with one-time, non-recurring sources. So, examples of some of that one-time recurring sources may be, circuit breaker, maybe town meeting article, or any capital outlay balance. So lots of updates around our projects, some disappointing, and some, moving right along at the Heathbrook.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Questions, comments?
Maybe
Mr.
just
Russo?
one, and certainly I know we have our budget workshop starting next month, and so I would imagine that some of those potential scenarios may be reflected in some of that effort that
Yes.
will be presented?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Anderson? No?
No, I'll hold my questions for the budget
Yeah.
once we get there.
Okay. I have no questions either, especially without Dave being here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so for the consent agenda, was there anything else that I think?
think we've covered
looked like
everything
we
in
covered it
there.
well. Any comments or questions on the consent agenda? I would entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion by Mrs. Biagioni Smith, second by Mr. Russo. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
And for our school committee member reports, we have the Tewksbury CPAC met this week, or last week, I think, Mr. Parsons or
Yes.
Biagioni Smith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The CPAC had their regular business meeting through Zoom last Thursday. It was well attended, so that's always good to see, and offering that flexibility to families. The annual goals and the CPAC's progress towards Zooms was discussed. These goals were focused on outreach, community outings, and increasing membership, all of which are happening. There's a last-minute update to the agenda. We were visited by one of our excellent educators who brought concerns regarding teacher assignments and potential impact that could have on the services students receive. Unfortunately, we couldn't discuss this issue any further, but I think this speaks to the effectiveness of this group, that an educator feels comfortable enough to come to a group of the major stakeholders around special education, voice a concern, and just put it out there so that collectively we can start solving it, and continuing the work of continuously improving the services we provide our students. The meeting wrapped up with some good cheer and a celebration in a statement by the chair of the CPAC, commemorating this good work. One of the major themes that stood out to me in the statement, the work's not always clean, it's usually messy, but we're all still here doing it together, and that's what matters. It takes a lot of trust, communication, and transparency to work together in providing and improving how we support our population of deserving students, arguably our most deserving and most needy. So it's a good meeting to wrap up on. I'm looking forward to continuing this work.
Thank you, Mr. Parsons. And any questions, comments on CPAC? Wellness Advisory Committee, Mr. Russo, Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Biagioni Smith, that was today.
Yeah, we actually just met just before we began our meeting here. So I have some notes. I haven't had a chance to really collect all my thoughts or unpack it all just yet. But we talked about several different topics. Talked a little bit about this. If I'm going to butcher this, probably the CBERT survey, I think is, if I'm saying that right. We did speak a little bit about the grant from the middle school aspect of the lack of trying to, be responsible with screen time for students, as well as talked a lot about, things that are forthcoming around droplets and free and reduced lunch, and trying to promote and really advertise why that's important, even though there already is free lunch. There are so many other benefits to submitting that paperwork and just trying to, educate families around that. Again, a lot more to talk about around some of the wellness policy, and specific to trying to tailor that down a little bit and really trying to get some input from DESE. So there'll be some more to come there. I know that at some point will be coming up to the policy subcommittee, and so we want to try and kind of help those things come together, I think, in some way. So a lot of good things. I think there'll be some action items that will come out after some of this survey data from CBERT gets looked at, which we plan to not necessarily review the data, but really try to understand some of the highlights from the data so that we can determine what actions should come out of that committee from that as well, which will be great.
Great. Anything to add, Mrs. Biagioni Smith?
No, Rich covered it, thanks.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Really have any, just my only question really quick, I guess I do have one. On the wellness policy that
Yeah.
came out of the committee
Yeah.
recently that we haven't had a chance to look at, is that completed?
Yeah, so the policy, as it stands at this point, is ready for subcommittee review.
Okay.
The policy subcommittee review, let me be clear.
Okay.
I think I think if the subcommittee feels that there needs to be some tweaks because of the length of it or whatnot, I think that the Wellness Committee is willing to do that and work with DESE in conjunction of doing that. Because at the end of the day, there's a position with the committee, or at least members of the committee, where they're audited by DESE on how that policy gets executed on. And so they want to make sure that we're taking credit for the things that we're doing and encompassing that in the policy. So DESE has their own sort of interpretations of that and how that gets worked into the policy. So at the end of the day, I want to figure out how we can bring those two committees together a little bit to ultimately get sort of buy-in on all fronts to make sure that the right policy is what we're actually enacting and executing on.
Madam Chair, there's one extra thing that I just thought of that within the policy that was brought up by one of the members was having to do with potential grants that would be available
Yeah.
based on language within the policy. So if the policy speaks to it, it's something that the district might be eligible for. But if the policy neglects to include that in the policy itself, you may not be as likely to be eligible for those. So something to consider at one of the subcommittee meetings to maybe ask. There's someone that would want to represent the
Yeah.
group there.
Okay, understood. I think that would definitely be a wheelhouse for Mrs. Terry O'Regan, for sure. Okay, all right, great. So we'll have to take that,
Yeah,
look at that before we actually sit down with it.
correct.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. And moving on, policies, changes, and proposals and adoptions.
Yes, okay. So we do not have any informational reading policies for this month. We do have a few first reading, which have reviewed and are recommending to revise. Policies KBDA, KBE, KCD, KDB, KDD, and KE.
Okay. So are there any questions, comments, or discussion on any of these? We will have these come before us one additional time before we're asked to finalize and vote to approve. All right, seeing no comments, we can move on.
Okay, and on to second and final readings, which we have reviewed and are recommending to revise for the second reading. Policies FB, HB, HF, KA, KBA, LBC.
Okay, so these are in our final reading. If there's any discussion, this would be the time. Okay, seeing no discussion, is there a motion or?
I'll make a motion to approve on a second and final reading, policies FB, HB, HF, KA, KBA, and LBC.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mrs. Anderson and a second by Mrs. Biagioni Smith. And just for comprehensive reasons, on FB, facilities planning, HB, negotiations, legal status, HF, school committee negotiating agents, KA, school community relations goals, KBA, school parent relations goals, LBC, relations with home schools. All in favor for the slate, as Mr. Russo likes to use it, please say aye. Aye. Okay, that's unanimously approved. Great. And then for some of our old business, we have CMHS early college opportunity updates.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. This is informational only, but I thought it was important to share with you. I think, I can't remember who asked if we would see any impact of the optional. You're smiling at me, Mr. Russo. I did think so, but I wanted to make sure. Would there be any impact on AP test exams for our high school students if the AP test was optional? And I was surprised. So if you look at the update on our early college opportunities, I'll start with advanced placement exam registrations. You can see that we are exceeding the amount of advanced placement exams from 22-23 this current school year. And you can see we have 32 more students with an increase of 21 more exams ordered in comparison to last year. So it's important to note that we're not requiring the AP exam, but you can see we have a very robust enrollment in our AP courses and, as I said, an increase in students taking the exam. So you see the highlights. 5 of these exams will be administered digitally this year. And then in other early college opportunities, I wanted to just share with you the number of students enrolled in our dual enrollment courses. We have 7 dual enrollment courses through Southern New Hampshire University and Middlesex Community College. You can see the courses that we're offering, and we are looking to expand on those courses into next school year. And then finally, our innovation pathways to engineering. You can see for our senior population, we have 12 students who have met the academic program requirements and the MyCap requirements to earn that, graduating with a special certification and honor in innovation pathways. So there'll be the capstone that they'll participate in if they want that special recognition and certification and going into graduation. We currently have 18 junior students and 7 sophomore students on trend or on the pathway who can earn that designation as well. So we look forward to continually marketing this pathway to our students, because I'm just not sure students truly know what this pathway is all about. And if they're interested in engineering or any field in that study, this particular pathway of courses and project and experience really is quite a notable recognition when students graduate. So I thank Karen Baker O'Brien for providing me with the data, but this was the right time to provide it to you, because we are in that place of placing the order for all of our AP tests, so timing is good.
Okay, any questions or comments? Mr. Russo?
Just one, yeah. On the innovations pathway piece, with the 12 seniors that have met the requirements, is there any opportunity for any of those to go down and talk to freshmen right now that that are not aware, because it's just not an opportunity? I just, again, trying to think of ways for, some of the senior kid or older kids to come down and talk to some of the younger kids in grade levels.
It's a great suggestion, and I'll certainly pass that on to Ms. Baker O'Brien in the guidance department. I mean, our students listen to each other. They're great role models. You shared that tonight with Rania in working with younger students. I would say not even only 9th grade, but 7th.
And 8th,
And 8th,
yeah, fair
because
enough.
they're not all, the letter that went home really highlighted some of these options that are available that parents and students didn't know about.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
I just had a question on the dual enrollment courses. I remember you talking about how there's a process to get those courses approved by the universities. Do we know how many new courses we have in the?
I know there are 2 in the pipeline right now, and there's some teachers who are enthusiastic about some future courses for next year, but I believe there's still even a deadline now pending for courses in second semester. So I don't know if there are any ready for second semester or if they're looking. I can seek out that information, though.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other comments? Seeing none, thank you.
You're welcome.
And that brings us to the December 1st Teacher Workshop Professional Development Day.
Yeah, we had a half-day workshop day on Friday, December 1st. During that time, our pre-K staff continued their training in the new Frog Street curriculum. The K-4 staff participated in another session of standards-based grading, which they had requested. We were happy to be able to provide that. The teachers at the Ryan and the Wynn and at TMHS engaged in work at the building level around our vision of a learner attribute implementation. And we were also able to offer some Lexia training to our reading specialists and training on the new IEP to our special educators and related service providers. It's always challenging to meet all of the needs and the wants of the staff, but I promise you, we are trying to make all of the people happy all of the time. We know this is not the case, but we are not for lack of effort. I truly want to thank all of our administrators and staff for their support, flexibility, for their collaboration. The staff has been very collaborative in the feedback surveys, letting us know what's working and what isn't working. And I look at that stuff very closely with the curriculum team to look for trends and see what we can do. Unfortunately, a lot of it doesn't just get fixed in an instant, but we're trying to move in that direction. Very grateful for the high level of staff engagement for sure on those PD days, and especially on a Friday afternoon. And the overall just time that they're taking to provide the feedback is very much appreciated. We have a full PD day coming up on January 2nd, and I look forward to updating you at our next meeting on all of the happenings during that day.
Excellent, thank you. Any comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And then we have a student handbook update.
We do, and again, this is informational only, and as I promised, any updates we make to the handbooks, I would bring forward. While you don't need to vote on this, what we have here is an update to the food and nutrition services information in our handbook. As we put in the new screening and medical screening updates, it was made crystal clear as we started reading through again that we still have information on school lunch fees, which we don't have. So Ms. Mugford has edited the update for all of our K through 12 student handbooks on final language around school meals, and that bottom, the cleaned up piece, is what will go into every handbook.
Okay.
And you can see, I mean, the larger piece is really just about, the cost of school meals and charging, and that is irrelevant at this point.
Okay. Great, thank you. Any comments on the handbook update? No. Thank you for the update. And then now we're looking at the MCAS calendar schedule.
Yes, you have the TPS MCAS calendar in your packet. This is informational only. No vote is needed, but we wanted the community to know. As you know, the state puts out the testing windows for ELA, math, and science, technology, and engineering, and then districts get to select the actual dates for testing. So we've included those dates in the packet and just wanted to remind you that those dates are, of course, always subject to change based on certain circumstances, most likely weather. But we know it's always helpful for families to have these dates for their own planning purposes. So unless you see any details or concerns we may have missed, we'll be posting this in our district newsletter and on the website for families. And I'll continue to update you if there are any changes that come through, just to call the public's attention to it. We're also actively preparing for access testing. The access for EL's language proficiency testing window for all of our students in the EL program opens on January 4th and closes on February 16th. Families can expect to hear from their child's school regarding the specific testing dates within that window for their student. And I'll also update the committee next month at our next meeting when I get those actual dates. We're working through those now. And just as a reminder to you and to the public, the access test gives our EL students the opportunity to demonstrate their skills in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And the results of that assessment really help us track progress. It is an accountability area for the state as well, and helps us determine appropriate levels of support inside and outside of the classroom. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Any questions on the schedule as presented? No? Okay. Any school committee matters of interest? Mr. Parsons?
Yeah, I can go first.
Sure.
Just related to my CPAC update. So there is a meet and greet with school administrators and staff for families of students receiving services. Maybe my colleague can help me here. Was that date settled and finalized, or is that still working?
I believe that date has been set. I just don't have that in front of me. I think I gave it in the last meeting.
Can I hear the question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so meet and greet with administrators. Yeah.
I believe that's the January 18th
Yes.
meeting.
Yes. Yep.
And it's 5:30 or 6 o'clock. Let me just look. I can
It
look at my
is-
calendar.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Which gives some meet and greet time with the central office and other administrators, and then some social time for the CPAC and families.
6 to 6:30, looks like, is the meet and greet.
And then also kind of on the theme of collaboration and collective problem, CPAC and central admin will check in at some point this month to discuss.
Yes. We haven't set that date and time, but we're looking forward to meeting with the leadership team.
That's all I have.
Great, thank you. Mr. Russo?
No, nothing as I said. Thank you.
Mrs. Anderson?
Just wanted to say thank you for sending out that list of holiday events. It was good to see all of the things that our schools are taking part of and try to get to as many as we can. I will be at the Doing School tomorrow night watching The Grinch with my family, so appreciate you sending that out.
You're very welcome. Great. Mrs. Biagioni-Smith?
Just one, I know the Win has their drama production coming up in December, so we won't meet again before that. So I wanted to wish good luck to some of those first-time performers. It should be a fun show, Frozen, a lot of popular songs, so hopefully we see a full auditorium for that production.
I'm looking forward to it.
In fact, they'll be taking that show on the road to the Doing and presenting in front of our younger students soon as well.
And that's always great to get them excited about possibly doing that themselves one day.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And I have to say, High School Musical was really, really fun. I went with my daughter, and they did an amazing job. It was great.
They did. That was another good one. I just wanted to say congratulations. I happened to see it in somebody's update, one of the principals possibly, that the Rocket League made it to the Final Four state championship, so.
Be contesting a three-peat championship.
Right. So, they've been doing well the last few years. Anyway, so good luck to them. It looks like they're competing on the 14th. And then also, something that I've already kind of mentioned to some people on the side is is there some way to better maybe align when there are town activities with school activities? I recognize the challenge. I can see how hard that could be. But when you have like large town events that happen that are geared towards children, but then we're running events at our schools at the same time, is there some way that we could do, maybe a better job of aligning some of that? I don't know the answer.
Right.
But I just feel like I would like to address it as maybe something that could be explored, just so that, families have the most opportunity to attend everything if they want to. So I'm not sure the answer, again, just putting it out there.
I think it's wonderful for us to reach out and see how
Yeah.
can we do that, and certainly I'll work with Ms. Johnson to reach out to the town clerk's office, and so that we are in communication better with each other. I agree. We
Yeah.
want our families to, enjoy those events.
Yeah. And I know from the planning aspect, as when you're on the other side, there's a lot to consider anyway, so it's hard. So, but anyway, putting that out there. And then for our future school committee dates, we have a regular meeting on January 10th. Our budget workshop is actually going to be its own session on January 24th. That is also open to the public. That's an open meeting. And a public hearing on the budget and a regular meeting on February 14th. So if you have no plans on Valentine's Day, you can join us. Future subcommittee and advisory committee dates, the CPAC business meeting on January 18th. As Nick already had mentioned, it looks like the meet and greet sounds like a great idea. And the Wellness Advisory Committee, December 6th was today.
February 7th, would be the next, February 7th.
February 7th, okay. And in our policy subcommittee, we actually did not meet this month, so I guess that's something that we'll just kind of reconvene, going into the next calendar year. Are there any future agenda items people are interested in we should consider? Okay. And seeing none, that brings us to our adjournment. if anybody's
Motion to adjourn.
interested.
I'll second.
All right, a motion by Mr. Russo, second by Mrs. Biagioni-Smith. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And we adjourn at 7:25.